Okay, today in our Algebra You Should Know review, we're going to look at multi-step equations. Now, yesterday we looked at expressions. Our expressions were things like 2x and 3x plus 4. Today we're going to be looking at equations. The difference is equations have an equal sign in them, okay? They have something that is equivalent on both sides. So for instance, 2x equals 6. Or 3x plus 4 equals 16. Okay? And in geometry, we are going to be looking at equations all the time. And it's very important that we know how to solve those really quickly because we're going to have to look at so much other things with them. So we're going to need to be really, really good at it. So let's go ahead and look at our first equation. Okay? Now with multi-step equations, you have to often work backwards. Alright, we're trying to isolate our variable. We want to know here in number 1, what is x? What is its value? Okay, and your variable is not always going to be x. Sometimes it'll be y, it may be d, it may be a, it may be z. Okay, it can be any of those things. Letters all represent variables here. Alright, so let's look at number 1 to start out with. And again, this is a little bit harder one, but I want to go ahead and just jump into it. Alright, so the first step here in isolating our x value, we need to get rid of this denominator. Anytime there's a denominator, it's so easy just to get rid of it first, then your equation is so much simpler to deal with. So in order to get rid of that 7, we can multiply each side by 7. When we do that, these cancel, and I am left with 4x equals negative 21. Okay, now in order to get x completely alone, we are multiplying here by 4. So to get rid of it, we need to divide by 4. So if I divide by 4 on both sides, these cancel. And my answer is x equals negative 21 over 4. Now I know a lot of you are fraction scared. Okay, you don't like fractions, you don't like to look at them. They are okay. This answer is perfectly acceptable and is correct, okay? So you can leave it just like that. Now I want to show you really quickly another way that we could have done that problem. So we had, our problem was 4x over 7 equals negative 3. Another way to do that would be to multiply by the reciprocal of 4/7. 4 over 7 is a fraction. So if we multiply by its reciprocal, which is 7 over 4, then the 7's cancel and the 4's cancel. And remember, you have to do it to both sides. If you do it to one side, you have to do it to the other. Alright, so when we do that, we go ahead and take care of both of those steps in one. Alright, so now we have x equals negative 3 times 7 is negative 21 over 4. So either way, you come out with the same answer. Alright, let's look at number 2. So here we've got another equation, but look here, we have x's on both sides. Alright, so anytime I see x's on both sides, it really doesn't matter if you subtract 8x or if you subtract 14x. You will get the same answer in the end. Usually what I do is I subtract the smaller x so I don't have any negative numbers, because some people don't like negative numbers. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 8x from each side. When I do that, I am left with 2 equals 14 minus 8, which is 6x minus 7. So now I need to get the x by itself, so I'll add 7 to each side. So I get 6x equals 9. So now I can divide 6. So x equals 9 over 6, which reduces, over 6, which reduces to x equals, we can take a 3 out of each, 3 over 2. And that would be our final answer. Okay. Some of you may not like that just because your x is on that side of the equation. So if you want, you can write it this way. Same answer. Alright, we can flip that and it's the same thing. Okay, Let's look at one more, and then I'm going to have you try a few. So in this one, we're going to have to use the distributive property. And what that says is A times B plus C is the same thing as AB plus AC. Okay, we can distribute that A to both terms. So let's look at this one. We need to distribute the 4 to both terms here. So we have 4x minus 7 times 4, which is 28, equals 8x plus 6. So now let's subtract 4x from each side, or you could subtract 8x. Again, does not matter. We get negative 28 equals 4x plus 6. Now subtracting 6 from each side, I get 4x equals negative 28 minus 6, which is negative 34. Okay, so if we divide both sides by 4 here, I get x equals negative 34 over 4, which reduces to x equals negative 17 over 2. And that is our final answer there. Okay, so now I want you to try a few on your own. What I'm going to have you do is pause the video, take a few minutes, complete these 3 problems, and then hit play when you're ready to see the answers, and the answers will be on there. Alright, go. Okay, so here are the answers to those 3 problems. Again, I showed every single little step, and I know that a lot of you probably don't like to do that, but the reason I do that is because a lot of times I see students get in a really big hurry and then get a problem wrong over something very little and silly. If they would have just taken the time to write it down, they would have had it correct. So I hope that you all understand this and that this is so easy for you. You remember this completely. But if not, come in class tomorrow ready with questions. Bye.